Ukraine-Russia war: U.S. House passes crucial aid deal worth $61 billion. The House of Representatives has finally approved billions of dollars in new U.S. military aid for Ukraine to help combat Russia's invasion. The much-delayed measure had vocal opponents in Congress, and it took a fragile bipartisan deal to get the $61 billion package through. Publications said more than a third would be dedicated to replenishing weapons and ammunition. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described the U.S. support as vital. The aid is likely to include air defense systems, mid to long-range missiles, and artillery shells. It's unclear when it will arrive. The package will now go to the Senate, which is expected to pass it within the next few days before President Joe Biden signs it into law. Ukraine, which relies on Western weapons, desperately needs the aid as it struggles to contain invading Russian troops who have been making steady advances in recent weeks. Mr. Zelensky said the aid should come as quickly as possible. In an evening address on Sunday, he said that if Ukraine were given the right weapons, it could change the situation on the front line. Frontline air defense is as crucial as the protection of our cities and villages. Our long-range capabilities, our artillery, our ability to expand the area of our control, he said. Every day is important now. Alongside replenishing weapons and ammunition systems, Ukraine will also receive more than $9 billion of economic assistance in the form of forgivable loans, ones that do not need to be paid back. Russian President Vladimir Putin launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Since then, tens of thousands of people, mainly soldiers, have been killed or injured on both sides, and millions of Ukrainians have had to flee their homes. Ukrainian soldiers are now running low on munitions and having to ration artillery shells on a front line more than 1,200 kilometers long. Last weekend, the head of Ukraine's military warned the battlefield situation in the east of the country had significantly worsened as Russia intensified its armoured assaults. Cheers and applause erupted in the House when the measure passed by 311 votes to 112, with some representatives waving Ukrainian flags. Welcoming the result, Mr. Biden praised the bipartisan effort to answer history's call and urging the Senate to approve it quickly so that I can sign it into law and we can quickly send weapons and equipment to Ukraine to meet their urgent battlefield needs. The foreign aid package passed on Saturday also includes NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said the significant boost in aid would supplement the tens of billions of assistance being provided to Ukraine by European allies. Ukraine deserves all the support it can get against Russia, EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen and Charles Michel said in a joint statement. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the package would make the United States of America richer, further ruin Ukraine, and result in the death of even more Ukrainians. Speaking to the BBC World Service's news show program, Alexander Meresko, head of Ukraine's Foreign Affairs Committee, described the vote as a historic decision. That would definitely save lots of lives of our civilians and our soldiers. It gives us strength, it gives us courage and resolve to continue to fight, and I'm sure that the situation at the front will soon change in our favor, he said. Both Mr. Zelensky and head of the CIA William Burns have said that Ukraine will lose the war without American help. That has been reinforced over the past 6 months by Russia taking more territory and other Western allies struggling to fill the gap left by Washington. Ukraine is now feeling the weight of American support once more. This is not the silver bullet which will help Ukraine win the war, but it extends its window to fight and keeps the negotiation table at bay. 50,000 Russian soldiers confirmed dead by BBC. Ukraine warns of WW3 ahead of stalled USAID vote. The House vote had been delayed by Republicans for months, with some objecting to sending money overseas instead of dealing with the US-Mexico border issue. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson said he wanted to push the measure through even if it jeopardized his position. On Saturday, it was passed by a comfortable margin, but those numbers obscure the increasingly sharp partisan divides on the issue. While all 210 Democrats voted in favor, more Republicans were against the legislation than in favor of it, 112 or 101. That could spell trouble for Mr. Johnson. 3 House Republicans are already calling for him to be ousted as Speaker. They may even force a vote on the matter next week. While the billions of dollars in new aid is expected to sustain the Ukrainian war effort in the months ahead, if Republicans gain more power in Congress or take back the White House, further US support seems increasingly unlikely. Separately, the House also passed a bill that would force the China-based owner of the TikTok social media platform to either sell its stake or face a ban in the USA.